the Leafs have at least, according to Dom Lucian, a 75% chance right now, things continue the way they are, to win the division. They're running away with it.
I saw his model. Doesn't it have the Leafs with an 8% chance to win the cup, which is wildly high?
Yeah, I think it's a little high.
That's as high as I've seen anyone.
I can't give the Leafs anything that high. Like, come on.
8% high.
Too much PTSD as a fan for that. But Jesse,
in a league where 31 teams are still in it, that's very high.
Jesse, what do you want to ask?
See, the thing about the percentage of them winning the cup and them winning the division.
Oh, here we go.
One, the North Division isn't very good.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Is the
Jesse,
narrative
all of Twitter?
Is the narrative
American hockey Twitter right here?
Is the narrative that Twitter keeps hammering away at over the weekend. And when you're a hockey team and you only have to play 6 other teams for an entire season, and then the first 2 rounds of the playoffs are also versus these 6 teams, and like maybe 3/4 of them aren't playoff teams if they're playing the rest of the league, do we have to start to look at this a little differently?
I don't think so.
No.
And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because there are other bad teams in other bad divisions. I mean, you got to look at it like this. Like, look at I'll give you this. The East Division is pretty tough. Boston, Washington, Philly, Pittsburgh, Islanders. That's a dead heat. And then the Rangers have had a disaster season. New Jersey sucks. So does Buffalo. But then you look at like the Central Division, where somehow the Lightning, who have played the least amount of games, everything is possible there. Dallas has only played 12 games, so they're a little bit behind. Tampa is in 4th place, just in the playoffs. You got Chicago and Florida in playoff position. Kevin
Lankinen, like one of the more underrated stories of the season. I thought Chicago was honestly going to finish last place with a Colin Delia, Malcolm Subban tandem. And this dude who I've never heard of comes out of nowhere. And in a league where save percentage is dropping, like plummeting, this dude's got a 925 so far.
That's crazy.
Stupid.
You will get into the playoffs if you have a starter like that. You will.
Absolutely.
And so you look at that, but you look at that division, guys. I mean, really, what should have happened, it should be Carolina, Tampa, Columbus, Dallas, and they all should be beating up on Nashville, Detroit, Chicago, and Florida. That is from a last year's perspective, it's like a have and have not division. And then obviously you've got the West Division, St. Louis, Vegas, Colorado, pretty amazing. And then the rest of those teams, Los Angeles, Arizona, Minnesota, San Jose, and Anaheim. I think it's fair to say that there is at least one great team in each division. I would say Toronto, Boston. I think Carolina's been a great team for a long time, and we just haven't fully seen that yet. St. Louis won a cup. Vegas has been to 8 million cups. Colorado's been other than those 3 teams in the Honda West, there aren't really any good teams there. And they're beating up on, you got to think about this. St. Louis, Vegas, Colorado get to beat up on 5 terrible teams.
It's St. Louis doesn't play Anaheim 8 times. St. Louis has to play Carolina, and they have to play Pittsburgh, and they got to play Boston. They got to play all the other teams.
They've already played Arizona 7.
Yeah, but the schedule is balanced for the other teams. And when you're in the North Division, you get to play Ottawa a whole bunch, and you get to play Montreal, and then you get to play terrible Vancouver. And I see the other side. Is that true? I see the other side that are saying, hey, it's a little wonky here that the North Division is so bad.
Who's the second best team in Canada? Like, forget the standings. Who's the second best team in Canada?
When are they playing to their highest potential?
Who is the second best team in Canada?
It depends.
Winnipeg.
Playoffs start today.
Winnipeg.
I think it's Winnipeg.
I've been on that Winnipeg thing for the whole season.
It's impossible that 6 out of 7 teams in this division suck against each other. You know what I mean? Like, Calgary's in a slump right now. They're losing to teams in this division, though. Montreal's in a slump right now. They're losing to teams in this division. To me, it's impossible that this many teams in this division suck.
Also, I got to throw something out there. Jesse, I'm not totally sure that you're correct. The American teams are staying within their division. I'm having a look at Chicago's schedule right now, and they don't play a single team outside of their division.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's right. Is that what Jesse said?
Everybody's playing within their own division.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
Yes, but the North Division is the terrible list of it.
But that was your main argument.
No, but once you reach the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, are they breaking off or are they staying within the division too?
You stay within the division until the conference finals, I believe.
Yeah.
In each of the divisions? Okay, that's a little different then. Yeah.
I believe so.
That's different then. Yeah. That's a little more even. Totally.
But like, it's just still, I don't know. It's impossible that they all stink, except for what the Jets and Leafs. That's impossible. That's impossible. But as a Leafs fan, in terms of teams you don't want to play in a playoff series right now, who's highest? Who don't you want to play? Because they're hard. You don't want to play the Jets.
Nope.
Who's after them?
Probably don't want to play the Canadians. Carey Price gets hot, you're fucked. I mean, let's be honest.
Edmonton's played the Leafs pretty well. Ottawa's played the Leafs pretty well.
Yeah, you probably don't want to play Ottawa, but you don't have to.
Okay, so now we're getting into a pretty interesting conversation, right? Because we're talking about, well, Edmonton's played the Leafs really well. And Ottawa's played the Leafs really well. And the Habs have actually managed to keep it close. They've played the Leafs pretty decently. So, like, what if the Leafs are just good? Like, what if the teams in this division don't stink? And the Leafs they were already a good team, and they've improved, and they've found ways to win. It's not like they're getting out of this world goaltending.
They're not.
They're getting...
They're not.
Goaltending. It's okay. Like, they're just winning games because they're better.
And one of the things that they've been doing, Steve, on top of that, is they've been pushing shots to the outside. I think I brought up an article with, I think it was The Athletic, where Tampa committed to pushing shots to the outside, and it finally got them the cup that they wanted to get. And you're seeing that with the Leafs. Now, I'm not saying they're on Tampa's level in terms of being able to do that, but it's happening. You're seeing these low risk, low danger shots happen. And you can look at this, the score sheet, and Ottawa's outshot them or whatever's outshot them, but these are not high definition scoring chances. These are lower and the remember last year where you saw like 2, 3, 4 rebounds before they were able to get a handle on things. If they were able to get a handle on them at all, you're seeing less and less of that. I think this is a Leafs team that's been through it and seems like they're developing into the team that we expected them to be probably 2 years ago. Yeah. And that's why brings me to my second point, which I might have been wrong about the Leafs wrapping up the division or having the chance to wrap up the division. Montreal through it. Montreal, as I said to you from the beginning of this season, you cannot crown a team yet that hasn't proven anything. Now, I'm not saying they won't get there, but this is a team. Apparently, Philip Deneau is on the trading block, which is crazy to me. I keep hearing there's rumors about that, which might just be Montreal. What's that?
And Suzuki's being scratched and stuff. I don't know what's happening.
And Deneau, I think, is they're having difficulty extending him, so they're trying to get value.
Right. This isn't the time.
No, I don't get it.
Time.
That's one of my favorite trade trees, by the way. The Habs traded, I think it was Thomas Fleischmann and Dale Weiss to the Chicago Blackhawks for a late first round pick who was Philip Deneau, who wasn't working out in Chicago, and a second rounder who years later went on to become Alexander Romanov.
Wow.
It's a good trade. Fleecing.
Did Chicago win the cup that year?
No, that was the 2015. No, that was the year after they won in 2015. That was 2016.
Okay, so that's when they got destroyed by Nashville, right?
I think so. Yeah,
in the first round as well. They scored 3 goals in 4 games.
Something like that. Yeah.
What I'm saying here, guys, is the Montreal Canadiens. I understand the excitement around them and that sort of thing. But as I said to you before the season started, it's an issue of a team that hasn't fully developed yet. You got a lot of new parts here. Josh Anderson looks great, but you're gonna have up and down moments from Kotkaniemi, Suzuki. There's a lot of people complaining about Claude Julien's systems, and I don't know how much of this you can blame on him, but it's there seems to be this thing where they're looking a little discombobulated, and you can't really point out what it is.
There's also the value of magic, and it's hard to deny, especially when they were playing the Canucks. The Habs were really feeling themselves. Mm-hmm. Did you see the overtime winner Ottawa scored against them last night?
Yes, I did.
There's 3 Habs standing still, and they don't look magical. They do not look like a magical team anymore. And that's a tough thing because when they're riding that magic, people call them a juggernaut. And I look at the things they're doing. I look at the highlights every morning and I go, absolutely, they're a juggernaut. Look at them. Look at them. They're unstoppable. Then when they go on a little streak like this or a little slump like this, I start to look at the team on paper and I'm like, oh, they're not special at all. They're fine. They're fine. I don't know about special. And I look at how they're struggling to score. And Eric Engels had a stat. I think it's only once out of the last 7 games they've scored 3 goals. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the last game against the Leafs. And the only reason they got the third one is with about 90 seconds left, Tyler Toffoli accidentally literally broke Jake Muzzin's face.
Yeah. Muzzin's out, by the way. But
Muzzin is out. It's not
but
fun.
I want to throw this at you too. I tweeted this at the beginning or a few weeks ago, and I got in a bunch of shit from Montreal fans. They were so mad talking about how much crow I was going to eat, blah, 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 blah. And I said, listen, Montreal beat up on a bunch of weak teams to start the season. The Habs are, do you want to know what the Habs are versus non-Vancouver teams?
Literally one team you're taking out of the equation.
Yeah. Take Vancouver out of the equation. Do you want to know what the Habs are?
I want to hear.
5-5-3.
Oh, you know what's funny is if you did that for like Ottawa, I think the Leafs would get better.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But think about this: 5-5-3. They are 5-8 essentially with 3 points added. Versus teams that aren't the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, they've won 5 games versus the Canucks, or 4. They're 4-0-1. They have one shootout loss in there.
So, is it a weak division, or is it a division with the Canucks?
And Ottawa.
Who are extra bad. Like, it's shockingly bad.
Ottawa plays hard too, though. So.
They do.
You know what you got to be careful of, though? Everyone takes a turn. Everyone takes a turn being ass, and the Leafs haven't taken a turn yet.
Let me throw this at you. Montreal and the Leafs are up there with PDO, both of them. Montreal's PDO basically disappeared. The Leafs have been riding a bit of a PDO streak as well. So it is going to come eventually. But at the same time, my point in saying that the Leafs had a chance to wrap up the division was if you get far enough ahead, it's almost impossible to catch because of the loser point. Because if you lose in overtime, it is pretty good. Now, the Habs have played 2 less games. I know it's possible, but I'm starting to ask the question, is it probable?
You can get passed by a team, maybe 2. You're not going to get passed by 4. They're making the playoffs.